All right, we're alive. Hunter x Hunter 344 and episode 134. Let's go ahead and get started with the anime first. Let's go ahead and knock that out. Now, this was this was one that if you missed, um, it was information wise it was necessary, and it was an okay episode, but it wasn't great. Okay. And if you don't like Welfin and the octopus, if you don't like that whole gyro thing that's going on there,
Yeah.
then yeah, because that really dragged. And like I mentioned in the anime, well, let's go ahead and cover it. We'll go ahead and knock this out real quick. Um, all right. The whole thing with, and I'll get to you, Sean, and the whole thing with Poof, he just loses. He loses the game, he loses the king, you know. When Wolfen says, finally throws out the one word that's going to save his life, Mugi, excuse me, Mugi, and that just changed everything. Okay, so now the king, he's got his memories back, he's got that. Poof is kneeling, and the king walks past him in the other direction. So that whole thing is done. Of course, Poof is like bleeding out of the nose, and he's looking pretty bad. And but the whole thing I want to say about Wolfen, which is basically what I said in the review, is did you guys spend any time? It was chapters. What was it? I actually had it. Well, I had it down, but anyway, yeah. Here we go. Chapter 204, and it looks at episode 80. They talked about Gyro, who was the guy in charge when they were humans of Wolfen and Octopus and all that. He was the crime guy that was in charge. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was 9 pages in the chapter, not this chapter, chapter 4. So he's going to be something in the future because he became a Chimera Ant and completely retained all his human memories and just walked out of the game. The Chimera Ants. He's booked. So he's out accumulating, money and all this kind of stuff to be a crime boss. But he'll be something in the future that we're going to see later. And that's what, because otherwise, I know it's like I said, a lot of people just are like Wolfen and the Octopus, right? There was a couple of good episodes, but for the most part, they're just like sick of hearing it, right? I would say. People are just like, why is this a big deal? Why do we keep hearing about Gyro? So that's just more or less for the future. But anyhow, Sean, anything you want to talk about this episode, or
Um, about Wolfen.
well, not any of it, any part of 134?
I was gonna say, with the anime, you notice how like when the king displays his power, it made Wolfen like an older dog.
Yeah, he definitely lost all his hair. He got all. He thought he was done. Hey, Anthony.
What's going on?
No, just talking about the episode. There wasn't. It was necessary. It was okay to watch, but it wasn't fantastic. But anyway, Sean is just. Was there anything else about? Good.
Yeah, like to add on to what you're saying, it's not like I wasn't feeling the drama in that. Like it had to be very dramatic.
Yeah, it was a transition kind of an episode. A lot of things we see with that. You know, it was nice, that Kamugi finally got.
Yeah.
We have that happen.
I think this episode was more of like a closure.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, was there anything about this episode that really that you wanted to bring up, or?
Aside from the fact that it was, well, like you guys said, it was pretty straightforward. I mean, it was. I didn't remember a lot of it. Like a lot of the end of this arc has been it seems like it's been like kind of new to me because I cruised through the manga so quickly,
Yeah.
and plus I didn't understand it very well. I've always had a lot of trouble understanding the story in manga sometimes, and then when it's animated, I just get it all of a sudden.
Right.
And I don't know if that's a fault of me not being able to just get it, or the fault of the mangaka not portraying what he needs to portray well, you know.
Yeah.
But either way, it was yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It was I thought it was an important episode. I mean, this ends the whole mini conflict that Poof had with the king, trying to hide Kamugi's presence, and just put it all to rest. And this is like the very beginning of when it kind of marks the beginning of the king's downfall.
Yeah. Yeah. It sets everything up. It sets everything up good for next week. But I mean, the thing is this whole game between Poof and King is kind of run out of steam. So there's no real energy added to this episode from that. Most people are not into Wolfen and the Octopus and Gyro, so that wasn't something a lot of people got into.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this is making Welfin a little better though. I mean, I'm more interested in him now than I ever was in other parts of the story, and I think it's also I mean, another reason why it's not maybe as interesting as it was is all the villains are dying, the mass majority of them, of all the serious ones, of all the ones that were actually threats, are either dead or in the process of dying. You got Yuppie, which is gone. You got Pito, who's gone. Most of the Chimera ants are gone, and Poof's on the edge of dying. King's getting pretty close. He's essentially embraced his human side.
Well, they're not
It's over.
They're not. Plus, they're not just dying. They're not really villains anymore. The king isn't. Hell, the king, like I said in my review, well, this guy is a softy now. He's forgiving everybody. He's so soft now. He's like in knuckles.
Yeah, he's definitely a different character than he was at the beginning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what this means, like, he had all this power, and this power made him like a little soft on the inside.
Well, the realization, character development, is seeing humanity and seeing that people can, because he is like, I'm the king. I am just literally better than everybody, and he's found that humanity, even Komogi and everything, can exceed him. And
Yeah, I mean,
Netero was the same thing, right?
yeah, it's kind of funny that essentially I guess you could say the main downfall of this entire species, or whatever you want to call them, is their decision to start eating humans. As soon as they injected humanity into their gene structure, it was over. It clashed so much with their natural instincts of being an ant and stuff like that. It introduced individuality, all that stuff, which tore them apart. Empathy, all that stuff, which they previously didn't have. I mean, just look at how the king's been acting in between when he got blown up by the bomb and when he realized that when you hear Kamugi's voice, or not her voice but her name, that entire time he was a ruthless son of a gun, and now as soon as he hears her name, like you said, he's a big softy, and it's all because of the humanity that was started to be eaten towards the beginning of the arc. It's just that was their downfall. They should have never started eating them. They would have just kept it like Yuppie, with magical beasts. He probably would have been more of a threat.
Remember what the king said. Humanity's our challenge, right? And we have to overcome it, and then eventually we'll get a grip of it. What I would say is they kept proceeding with their plan as ants to take everything over. If they would have just stopped for like a couple of years or something like that, and done the processing of it before they were attacked and everything, then they might have had a chance, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But the king was right. But they didn't get the time.
Well, I think it's almost one of those things where if they stop, they die. You know, it seems like one of those types of species that has to keep reproducing. They have to keep spreading. And if
Right.
they don't, you know, they're going to die. I don't really have any basis for that argument, but it seems to me probably that in their nature, you know. So
Right. Let me throw this out there. Well, I didn't tell you yet. The whole thing of Gyro, the whole wolf and octopus thing, Gyro chapter. When did chapter? Oh my gosh, we look back. 204 in episode 80. There was like 9 pages in chapter 204. I went back and looked at. He's going to be a future crime boss that we're going to have to get dealt with. He's going to be a future problem.
he's going to what?
He's going to be a future problem. I had to go back because all the wealth and octopus stuff has been kind of interesting, but everything they keep talking about Gyro, right? We're going to find Gyro. What's Wolfen wanting to do now? He wants to find Gyro.
He was eating though, wasn't he?
Yes, but like I say, if you go back to 204, I'm going to make this real quick and we'll go right into the chapter. But he, unlike everybody else, Gyro, he was the boss that was eaten. You know, they were selling drugs and weapons and all that. He came back with all his senses, total memory, everything. And when he got formed, he just walked out of the cave.
Which Chimera ant was he?
They never showed him.
Well, always he came back with all of his memories.
Everything. He had everything.
Wait, if they never showed him, how do you know he had everything though? That's what I'm asking.
Well, because it said within the 9 pages, Tagashi spent 9 pages on Gyro, chapter 204, and most people passed. They never showed what Gyro looked like as a human. Never showed because it's just a black outline. They never showed what he looked like as an ant because he just had a big, huge coat and long pants. So you don't know what he looks like. But it said all this. He walked out, he had all his memories, he said it. 9 pages. He's going to be a future big problem.
Always thought he was the koala bear Chimera ant.
No, he's gone.
I've been rewatching the series lately, and I watched that episode not too long ago.
Yeah.
You're talking about the episode where they talk about his background?
Yeah, I don't remember the episode that well. I believe it was episode 80, but I would watch the chapter. I would go read the chapter again.
I didn't read the chapter, but I watched the episode literally like a few days ago.
First,
I think I know which one you're talking about, but I don't remember them saying that or commenting about him as a Chimera ant.
All right, we've probably spent about 10 minutes more than I want on this, but especially if it's not even about what we're doing now.
No, well, I mean,
I'm just transitioning. Chapter 204, everyone. First 9 pages. I'm telling you, because you can read it now, or you can go read it when you more later. All right. Does anybody want to say anything real quick before we go ahead and hit the chapter?
I still think there's a Chimera ant arc second part.
Well, yeah. Well, Pariston's got a boatload of them, and they came from some. I'm sure that other places have Chimera ants too. I mean, think of it this way: and they've probably perfected it, right? So you don't have to. Maybe you don't have to get. Maybe you can just get powered up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, because otherwise it's just like boom, superpowers. And
Yeah,
also
like.
mix of such random.
Yeah, I still think there's like a part 2 of that arc, but it'll be much better than the first one. Like all the drama and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Palm was able. I mean, was Palm just unique? She was able to come back full finally.
Yeah, she came back the same. It's just that she looked like a mermaid.
Yeah. So see,
a mermaid.
Yeah, a walking mermaid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other people that can see that. Well, anyway, let's go get the chapter. Everybody get the chapters open?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
All right. Now, I did my review. It was basically 3 pages of this. It's the first 2 pages and another page. But the whole thing with Leorio and Krupica just got me, especially the dialogue in the last page. I really want to cover what's going on. Well, anyway, page 1 is the eyes, right? Plan's eyes, and he's just naming names and investors, and then there's all these people, that had these eyes, just like they were objects, right? Just beautiful objects without thinking about the humans that were destroyed.
How come there's only one eye in each canister?
Well, I think they were sold that way. I mean, think of it this way: these were expensive, like jewels. I mean, what?
Yeah.
So I think
Eyeballs are jewels?
well, you know why the eyes were sold, right, James?
Well, they were like one of the 7 most beautiful things, weren't it, or something like that?
Yeah, one of the most beautiful things on earth.
I don't know why the eyes were sold.
Well, that's why they were sold. They're beautiful. They're red.
It was sold during the New City arc when they was doing the auction.
Yeah, there was one pair of them that was being
Yeah,
sold.
yeah, one was sold.
Yeah.
It started from that part on.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, the Gashis told us over and over. And it's the red, the top shade of red and everything in the arms is just one of the most beautiful things ever.
Yeah, since he's got all
They-
these eyes, it means he's probably been pretty busy in the time we haven't seen him in this show. In
Yeah,
the series. I wonder if there's any like stories worth telling, from that full flashback to any of it,
Of like
I'm
how
sorry.
each
Is the only use of the eyes? I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, next is the only use of the eyes for is just for collecting?
Well, no, they're beautiful. Have you ever, like the example I gave, have you ever seen a finely cut piece of ivory, James?
It's pretty much like people killing elephants for their
Let me say
ivory.
with James here a minute. James, have you ever seen any ivory figurines, anything cut from ivory?
Can't say that I have.
Okay. Well, a lot of it's really beautiful. Okay, it just took, but a lot of the ivory is in the tusk, is in the elephant, because they normally kill the entire elephant and take the tusk. So when we look at things, a lot of times we don't realize they're beautiful, but we don't realize what it took to get them. But no, the eyes are that beautiful, right?
Are they taken from living people or?
Yeah. Well, from a clan. There's one clan.
well, wasn't the story of how his clan got murdered and he was the only last one there, and then there was just like harvesting their eyes.
Yeah, they went in and killed them. But,
Yeah, it was the troop.
Well, anyway, that's a lot of backstory. But let's go. Let's stay with. Look at the mindset of Karupika right now. Right, where he's sitting there and he's processing this stuff that's happened, and then I'm gonna go and pass him a couple of points, and then we see the big picture. I like the artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much
it's great.
as I love Tagashi, I'm not a fan of his art. This is actually looking pretty strong to me, real strong.
He stepped his game up a lot.
Yeah, he did. Neverworld said it in an interesting way. He said he stepped it up and it made it basically competent. He said it was good. He didn't say it was great, but he did it because some of the first panels are pretty good. But anyway, yeah, I just being honest. But so each one of the eyes has its own. It's in its own jar. There's candles burning. There's flowers all over. It's a shrine, like to his dead clan, right?
Yeah, and then there's that one that one vertical panel. This is was Taro, which must be his friend or something. He's remembering.
Oh,
So it looks
that's
like my journey is finally beginning. It was on the second page.
Yeah. Well, this is where I want to get to. Look at what he starts saying. I don't have people to greet, welcome me, or a place to go home. I don't have anything like that. So Karupika is basically in his mind. He doesn't have anything. He's got nobody. Right? We all see this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, he's alone. He's like, I am alone.
He's really not alone, though. I mean, he's made plenty of friends in his journey. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like, it seems like like a regress in his character. Like he's not realizing that he has people around him that care about him, like
He's
Gon and
never
Leorio
realized.
and stuff.
But see, I think we thought that he was just okay. These guys are my friends, and we're all. He's never done that. He's emotionally isolated himself. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna go through the whole thing, but I'm gonna skip all the way to page. If you guys don't mind, page 12. 'Cause I want to stay on this. Where we'll go back to the beginning if you guys don't mind.
You said page 12?
Yeah, page 12. So while you guys are on your way to page 12, if you want, it's the dialogue is just amazing. It's what I said in my review. They're talking on the phone, going back and forth, and the whole thing is Lauro is the email address. Okay, Leorio, do you understand the situation we're in? How many times do you think I've tried calling you now? Tell me your freaking email address already. That's what Lorio says. And with Krupa's like, I'll pass on that. I'm heading over there right now. So he's not even giving Leorio his email address. Leorio's got no way to contact him directly, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, and Leorio's like, no, Leorio's the one that got him into the Zodiacs, right? Nobody was
Yeah.
big in there. And through the Zodiacs, he's able to get information to complete his quest, right? But he still doesn't understand that Leorio, Gon, and Killua are his friends. It just doesn't process to him. And
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know why he doesn't either, because there was plenty of scenes in York New where, they're all sitting around and he's like, I got really good friends. Like especially that one scene when he was explaining his powers, like what his chains do to Gon.
Yeah.
And, how that was kind of a symbol of trust, because he didn't want anyone to know in case that one girl found out, because she could read minds. And, there was a whole scene. He's like, oh, yeah, I have really good friends. And now he's here and he's acting like all standoffish and stuff. Something happened in this time that we didn't see him. I don't know what it is, but something happened and I want to know what it is. Because
he's emotionally pulled away.
Something, I don't know.
Didn't Kurapika ask about Gon? Like, did he mention when he was in the car?
No.
For Leorio?
No, not
in this chapter?
Not that I
Yeah.
Not that I remember, no.
There's a panel here. I guess they was in a car, and it says Gon's alright. Get yourself here and be my support. Is that Leorio speaking or Kurapika?
Yeah, that's Leorio, because this is getting exactly to what I'm talking about. Okay, Kurapika's like, I heard about Gon from the Cow Cop. Is there anything that I can do right now? So see, he hasn't been keeping track of this. He just heard about it now. And he's like, is there anything I can do to help? And Gon, now here we go. I love this. Leads back. Gon is fine for now, for the time being. What you can really do is come here and give me some support. I mean, listen to what Laura is saying. I'm really uncomfortable here, surrounded by all these people I don't know. And what is Kurapika's response? Acknowledge.
Very cold. Very cold response.
Very cold. And it's getting really close to the part that I really like. Okay, and in Kurapika's mind, he's not even shy or socially anxious type. He doesn't understand that Leorio, the friend aspect of this, completely filtered out in his mind. He's like, he can't think, here's my friend that wants my support right now, right? And now the Cow Cop goes, Leorio really values you highly, doesn't he? You get a load of this. And once you come back with, Kurapika's like, I wonder about that. To be honest, I don't really think my ability will be much help in the Dark Continent, but I'm grateful for the intel and the friends. The Cow Cop is talking about like as a person, right? He really likes you as a person, and Krupa is just thinking utility. How much I'm going to help. That isn't why Leorio didn't bring you along because you're going to help in the Dark Continent because he's his friend, right? And whether
Sure.
it's something that happened in between or whatever, that's what Ruka's mind. So
So Anthony must be right. Like something did happen to Kurapika that we don't know of.
I mean, my theory is that if you remember back at the end of York New, there was that kind of theme that all of his friends were trying to push him away from his vendetta against the troop,
yeah,
and he for the most part kind of agreed to that. You know, he was like, I should focus on my clan's eyes, more than anything, more than getting revenge. And maybe he kind of regressed. Maybe he kind of had like a relapse. Maybe now he's obsessing about it again, and that's why he's being so standoffish towards his friends because he doesn't want them to find out or something like that, or because he knows they would disapprove. I mean, that's my theory at least. It makes sense in my head, but I don't know. This is just totally, totally conjecture.
well,
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
since I've been watching a lot of Yu Yu Hakusho, because I want to get that going on. Having huge emotional barriers around you is something that happened in that series. And I just feel that in Rupika, this is what he has. He has these huge emotional barriers, right? Because in his mind, he's just, even just stuff everybody's picking up around him about friendship and all that. He's just not doing it. Everything's utility. So,
Yeah, I think
but
we're due for like a flashback or something.
and let's see. Let's go ahead and do something real quick. Let's go ahead and go to page 13 before we go back to the whole game thing. And I also like the whole thing of the cow cop kind of warning him and telling him a little bit. What would be interesting? Well, of course, what would be interesting is he finds that the prince really isn't a bad guy at all. You know, but there's some kind of. I just have a feeling on that. There's going to be some quirky angle. Okay, but the reason I want to go to this page is, what do you think about Gon not having his powers?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like that whole bottom panel kind of fell out of place. It was like he kind of threw it in there, then it just cut right away. That was all we got. And my mind is brought back to that thing that was mentioned in one of Togashi's recent interviews. He said like he's getting ready for some like reader backlash. And maybe it's because like he doesn't plan on keeping Gon around as the main character. I've heard a couple reviewers say this, that maybe he's gonna focus on other people other than Gon, and maybe that's the reason why his Nen is gone. Maybe he doesn't plan on bringing it back. Because if he gets his Nen back, and he's obviously his health is back, but if he gets his Nen back too, doesn't that kind of cheapen what happened with Pizzo? Kind of. I mean, to me it does. If he can just completely recover. Does anyone else feel like that?
Well, yeah, exactly. Let me just throw this out there. Yes, put it on exactly what you said here. Otherwise, he has to pay some kind of serious price for what he did. Right? He almost died, and so his powers, at least temporarily. Now, of course, that leads how many? There's going to be some arc later on that his friends will have to go on, probably the Dark Continent, to reignite Gon's power, right?
Yeah.
That's a possibility. But yeah, see, just like what you're saying, he has to pay a price. Okay, but I'm going to say this right now. I said this in the review. I don't care. Right now. I don't care if Gon doesn't have his powers. I don't give it. I don't care. I'm so into what's going on with Dean and Harrison and and Dawn freaks, who's their like great grandfather, whatever, still alive, writing books. Okay, just getting to the last thing. I'm so much more interested in Leorio, Kurupika, everything else has got my attention so much, and I know I have faith in Tagashi that he will do something interesting. But yeah, he has to pay a price. He can't just yeah, you can go ahead and use that superpower up anytime you want, and we'll just fix you up.
I, I I think it's a good thing he don't have powers no more because I'm sick and tired of rock paper scissors attack. Like he could get new powers or develop new powers.
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes through it. Like I say, his friends help him go through the ordeal, and he's a lot more powerful than he was before. Already.
He I want his new powers. I don't like that rock paper scissors attack. It's like it makes no sense.
Really, I actually like it myself. I think it sounds cool when he's doing it.
I'm okay with it, but the thing is he's there's these people are so the action going on around him is so much stronger than he.
Yeah, it shows how good of a writer he is that he can create these. Well, I guess they're not supporting characters anymore; they're kind of main characters. But he's able to create a world of other people that are able to survive independently of the main character.
Yeah.
Because not every series can do that. There's some series where as soon as the main character's not involved, it's like, I don't care anymore. But now, as soon as the main character isn't involved, now we all care even more. And that's the thing. And it's been like that in every arc so far. I think.
Yeah, I was
Gone isn't. He's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, my bad. You keep going.
No, I'm pretty much done.
Oh
I was
no,
just gonna ramble on.
I was telling this to Steve. I was like, how every arc they have like they switch characters to be main characters. Like the first arc it was all about Gon, and then now this is like Kurapika and Leorio, and he's like a supporting cast or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
And then putting him in this whole page makes him look like he's near everybody else. Like wherever he's at, yeah, like he's by like buildings, he's inside like a room or whatever. Like that whole scene makes him look like he's near to all these other characters somewhere. Cause they wouldn't ever pop them up like that with all these characters here.
If you guys could, while we're talking, if you guys could make your way to page 6.
Yeah, I'm going. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there has to be some reason why he just threw him in there for one panel, then he's gone again. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, like you said, if he's maybe near the conflict, maybe he's near what everything else, where everyone else is.
Well, I never had a problem with that because but this is what I like. He's gave us a panel. He says update. He doesn't have his powers, right? And so at least we have something. I would rather get that than nothing. So
it sounds like a ESPN moment. Like, oh, Gon lost his power, and then that's it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That is what happened. That's exactly what he did. It's an update. Here's an update coming in. Gon lost his powers.
And I thought we weren't going to get anything. I honestly didn't expect to see Gon for a while.
But because I'm not that interested. See, I mean, this is the difference. I think you guys are more interested. Like, wow, where's this going to go? And I'm like, see you Gon. I'm watching a game. I mean, really, I just went, later.
Well, I mean, I don't mind being away from him for a while, but I still care about, where his character goes and what he's going to do, because at the end of the day, he still is the main character. The series started with him, it's probably going to end with him,
Right. But like I said, I have faith in Togashi that he's going to do something interesting, and I can already think of some scenarios, and I'm sure he'll do some much better stuff. So.
Oh, absolutely.
But Ging, well, as for Neverworld said, Ging is Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho, which I can see it. His personality is Yusuke. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just exciting to me. Anyway, I'm on, page 6.
Yeah.
Okay, we start off back in the hallway, and this works out a little different. There's the one guy. It looks to me like the guy with the bowl haircut is controlling the woman that I thought was a puppet for Pariston, and evidently it's like a robot or something. But anyhow, they're fighting. They're fighting over who's going to be number 2, and that bowl haircut guy is like, hey, if you're just causing problems, we'll have to get rid of you. So, and what looked like a doll is like a robot. Battle preparations complete. It's some kind of android or something.
What
I
I
have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
no, go ahead, go ahead.
ahead. This number 2 is this number 2 for when they go on the expedition? Is that what they're fighting over?
Yeah. I mean, that's hilarious because instead of fighting for number 1, they're both now fighting because you know how these two are. They're both
And who's going with who? Are they going with Beyond and the V5's expedition, or are they going independently?
Well, now you're getting to the part of the whole thing. Okay, because Pariston wants to go hunt down this. He said he wants to hunt down Beyond when they get there, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, but what you're saying is extremely important because all these people have been hired by Beyond. And evidently, Pariston is in cahoots with Beyond. So is Pariston going to double cross him with all these people that are on the payroll Beyond, or was what he told Ging complete BS? And he's gonna link up with Beyond and turn on Ging.
So
Right.
is the real mystery is what Pariston's where his allegiance lies, pretty much, right?
I would say so because, like I say, he said when we get there, I'm going to hunt Beyond down. Right? We talked about that.
I remember that.
And now you find out they're all in cahoots with Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like he's already, that was Pariston's play. But Ging already knows what's going on. He even knows that Pariston's not getting paid anything. He says, "Well, I guess I could double your money, but 2 times 0 is 0."
Yeah, well, he's not in it for the money, He's in it for his sick kicks,
Exactly. But Ging seems to understand what's going on. Like I say, and even if Ging said now I'm going to be the last one, I'm going to be number 8 or whatever, Pariston would be fighting over that. That's how these guys are. They're both troublemakers.
I may be asking some very obvious questions because I'm having a really hard time understanding some of these chapters. I got to read them like so many times, and even then I don't understand them. So
well anyway, I had to see a problem. You brought up an awesome point right there. So we start breaking down into what's going on. Okay, like I said, we already covered that. And then we get to see the personality of some of the characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ging's personality is so straightforward. The whole thing, I'm just going to double whatever he was going to pay you, and you don't. And basically, I'm going to pay you up front, and the whole deal. So we get a lot of Ging's personality. And the one guy that he pays up front, he's like, see ya.
He just dips out of there. They're like, well, we're never going to see him again.
Yeah, he says, I'll be back. And they're like, that son of a gun's gone. So, but what his condition, Ging's condition is, I'll pay you double, but you have to acknowledge me as number 2. And wired the money. Boom, he's gone. See it.
How much money does this guy have? I mean, he obviously doesn't have his hunter license anymore, right? Because Kite had it, and then he gave it to Gunn. So he doesn't have his unlimited credit limit,
I think he does have an unlimited amount of money.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he does. Because look, he was working for that guy, Greed Island, all this kind of stuff. I think he's got a lot of bank account. I think he's got money that he doesn't care about, right? Literally. I think the guy's got that kind of money.
Well, he's not in it for the money, obviously. He's in it for the restoration of those runes and, just kind of like Pariston, but not in the Sixth Sense where he just wants to do stuff to entertain himself.
Yeah, he's got an Indiana Jones thing. He's in for the adventure and all this kind of stuff, which is similar to Pariston. But his thing is history and actually finding stuff. So
yeah, it's a good comparison to Indiana Jones.
The guy that wants to fight, what was it? But I refuse to listen to your orders without exception. At the most, this makes you the emperor with new clothes and naked as ever. That one guy that doesn't care about money, the one that he punched, Ging already punched the heck out of this guy. This guy is just, completely immovable. You know, he doesn't care. I'm on page 11, by the way. Kind of moving on. We can always go back.
Oh, 11? Yeah, I was wondering where you were. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm kind of jumping around here. He doesn't want the money, and Ging isn't happy about that. I don't need your money. You could donate it or give it to someone after you receive it. That works, if that's what you want to do. But that guy is not in it for the money either. He's stubborn. He's not in it for the money. So that looks pretty interesting. So we're learning more about characters. Pariston doesn't really do much in this chapter.
I like how he's like, I told you I don't want it, and he's like, I can't just accept that. He's like, you're gonna take my money whether you like it or not. I don't care what you do with it, but you're gonna take it.
Well, Ging is like Ging is throwing his authority. He's trying to make Pariston bend. He's trying to make them. He's showing everybody that whether he's number 2 or number 200 or whatever, he's going to be, you know, in charge.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on page 14 because we already covered some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about the stuff they brought back, you know, from the Dark Continent.
Yeah, and this really enlightens why people want to go there. It's not even just for exploration. It's for there's treasures over there. It's like, you know, it's like the land filled with, you know, milk and honey, but with things that can kill you surrounded by it, you know. There's all these herbs and stuff and immortality and longevity and
Power
curing
sources
diseases.
and everything. Yeah. Pretty much everything's over there. Was it ultra, you know, ultra high rewards and ultra high risk?
Yeah, well, I could always understand why the Hunter Association would want to go over there because they're hunters, you know. But I never understood why the hell would this government, the V5, want to go over there.
There was even some kind
this is why.
Yeah, there's even some kind of like I say, a rock that could power a city block or something. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, like 50. What did it say? 50,000 volts or something like that.
With one small bead, it can put out 20,000 kilowatts of power for an entire day. So that's just electricity, let alone all the other stuff that cures all diseases. You know, just
that's on page 15.
Yeah, we're on page 15. So.
And that's where the human-keeping beast pup is.
The ultimate, the ultimate longevity food, nitro grain, and just on and on. Which
that's
I think
where that hellbell is.
Yeah, and it explains, but I mean that's it. So this is so far beyond gone and on, and that kind of over the top though. Man, my only complaint about this, like the artwork that's showing all the animals fighting each other, is it demonstrates, you know, everything's eating everything, plants, bugs, every single thing is just viciously killing each other, you know. It's a little over the top, but it does give the idea.
You know what I like about this when they explain each treasure? They explain it as there's like 3 or 4 parts, and each part has like his own treasure. And it explains like percentage-wise, like how many people went in and came out and didn't even make it. Like explains like each part and what it does, like pros and cons.
Yeah, this was much simpler as opposed to the politics. This is a lot easier. There's, you know, and it's actually a more interesting way of showing stuff. But it looks like it also showed This shows 3 people. I'm on page 17. It shows it looks like Beyond Netero. I think that's Azak Netero.
Yeah, who are these people? Are they the people who went over there?
Yeah, and then it's Zig, and I looked up. I couldn't find Zig Zoldyck and Lynette Audible.
Yeah.
These 3. So I'm assuming we're going to see these 3 people.
It looked like the top 2, they gotta be related to, like, the bottom one is the Zoldyck family, and the top one has to be related to Netero.
Yeah. Isaac. I thought that was Beyond, but maybe Beyond is just Beyond. This is another person. So it's going to be interesting. I guess we're going to see some people over there.
Well, are these the people that they're implying went with this Don Freaks? or
don't.
these current people? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
this.
I don't know what time frame they're in.
They showed it as they went over there, but they the ones they came back.
Oh, okay.
Because I think Isaac Nitero. I think that's beyond, but
Maybe.
I'm just not sure.
He looked
So,
like he has like blonde hair rather than black, which, yeah, well, that's easily remedied with hair dye. But I'm just trying to point out what's there. You know, looks like he has different hair color, and could be a younger version of him or something. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. So we really don't know. At the same time that Beyond went, the kingdom of da da da. So it just seems like they're referring to that guy as Beyond, but I don't know for sure. And it could be maybe the three people that actually made it. But anyway, I don't know. Now I don't know. So well, actually, wait a minute, Isaac. That's Netero. That's the father. That's Netero.
I was gonna say, did we ever hear Chairman Netero's first name?
Yeah, I think it is Isaac or something like that.
It may be, yeah, maybe him.
So that would be him.
Well, they showed him when he was younger in the flashback when during the invasion of the palace in the Khmer Anarch.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
So I'd like to compare the picture of how he looked in there to this.
Well, anyway, it was Isaac or Azek, so that would be him. And then Zig Zoldyck, but I look under the Zoldicks and he doesn't exist yet. And Lynette Audible, so that's okay. So that makes sense.
The Zig guy looks like he needs to chill on the caffeine.
Yeah, they're all going to be messed up. But they explain this. Yeah, I'm sorry. And this I didn't reread before we started this. I'm actually kind of tired, so. But it really explains what happened to some of these guys. Oh, going over.
Does this one panel say they contracted a Zobai? Zobe?
Not the three, no.
It says they had contracted Zobe. Who are they talking
Right.
about?
Well, see, the thing is, you got to read the thing before. At the same time that Beyond one.
So,
Okay. All right. I even got muted. I don't know what's going on here.
hello? Does everyone hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. So I don't know. Everyone cut out all of a sudden. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I
I had
got
to
muted
back out
and,
and go
and,
back
and
in.
people just dropped out, so I don't know what's going on. Sean, you there?
Yeah, I was wondering why y'all stopped talking.
Yeah, people just got booted out. We're getting booted out or something. I don't know what was. I even got muted, so I don't know what was going on. Okay.
Damn Google Plus.
Yeah. Well, see, this is a problem because the reading, you know, has to be solid. You know what's going on here. But well, anyway, I don't want to. The whole thing about the guy, his sister being sick and all that, and him coming back. And this is something big about Ging. So he says, if you're going somewhere, I'll follow you no matter where it is. You are number two. But he tells him the story about his sister and all that. And Ging is like, sorry that I know that. There's no way I can let you die. Never seen that out of Ging, right? I haven't seen that kind of compassion.
Yeah, he never had like a really. He always had this like non-caring attitude about everything,
Yeah.
like nonchalant, and now he pulls this out of nowhere, you know.
But
So
this,
he's not without a soul.
no, this is like
Yeah.
this is Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho. This is something Tagashi does. Is barriers around your emotions.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. It keeps getting better and better. It's kind of Dragon Ball Z-ish, but it gets much better, and especially you start seeing powers, and it's the same kind of thing. You'll see it's like the latest. You watch an arc, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going nowhere. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I have the first 28 episodes, and I got like 5 episodes, and I'm like, geez, this is boring. And I know it gets better, and it's just a matter of sitting down and forcing myself to watch it. You know.
Yeah, it ends up getting pretty good, but it takes a while. But it's different. He's in a different place, like I say. And he's trying. There's some things that are kind of forced he's trying to do, but it gets, as you go through, it gets a lot better. But anyway, once again, we're going backward. So Ging is, we're seeing a lot more about how he is. So let's keep pushing forward here. But and then we get to the.
Are we on 19 now?
Yeah, we're on 19.
Okay.
And I love the whole build-up for the book. The whole thing about how we've got we've got the book for the East.
And the West.
No, he says there is a traveler's journal for the East and the West, but only
they only have
the
one.
East.
Yeah.
They only have the East, and there hasn't been a copy of the West, right? But the other one was written 300 years ago, right? The Shores of Mobius. Okay, I like how they got the East and West stuff and everything. It looked pretty good.
That was a cool panel.
Oh yeah. This was another shocker. This was another shocker. The end here, and Ging talks about the 3 possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
We simply haven't found it yet. He finally realized his life's ambition, and somewhere along his journey, he decided not to finish the other half of the book. And the last one is that it's still being written as we speak. People go, what? 300 years ago, and it's still being written?
I think it's funny. You get all these people reaction. You get Paris, and you just like stone faced.
Could it be the ultimate ingredient? Yeah, because he probably knows. Well, he knows a lot. The ultimate ingredient for longevity, the all-curing herb. That's what she's saying. And the author of the book is Dawn Freaks. It's like, what? So it's like his great-great-great-grandfather or something, right?
Yeah, 300 years is responsible for what, at least 4 generations or something like that, or 3?
Something pretty crazy. So, I mean, wow. Okay.
And this dude's got to be like I said in my comment, like God level. If he's been able to survive that long in the dark continent,
could just stroll, right? And that's what we all get hit with. Anybody could just stroll around this place. Is at God level, right?
Yeah, because they showed this. They showed all the statistics of the people that return, and this dude's got to be crazy. Just like next level shit. You know what I'm saying?
Or there's a possibility that whatever his ability is that he simply doesn't get perceived. It may just be that his special thing is people can't see him or perceive him, right?
So maybe he has like a plot device kind of.
Well, remember Meleron, right? His ability to hold his breath and he can't be perceived.
Yeah.
Okay, it just may be this guy. That's his main ability. He can just easily go around and not be perceived or something like that.
Possibly, yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we've seen the Freaks have a long history, or at least a history of being, crazy individuals who are really strong. So this dude's, even if he does have an ability like that, he's probably insanely strong.
Yeah. So Meleron's ability might be like a low level of this, and his is the high.
Yeah, because he had to like hold his breath, didn't he?
Yeah. But but he couldn't get tracked by Nin or anything, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, you were totally like, yeah, I remember that. That was like a really big part of that, the invasion arc.
All right, we're at the end of the chapter. there's a lot in here. There's a lot of specifics. Is there anything anybody wants to go back over, cover again, talk about, or even some of the other stuff we didn't really get into?
That one panel with where it showed the prince
Yeah.
and how the cow cop guy, he was like saying there's like this dark shadow over him.
Yeah.
That just intrigued the hell out of me, because when I originally saw him, I'm thinking, this dude's probably some, some spoiled dude who just, Daddy, I want these eyes, and he gets the eyes, but he's like, he may be like some crazy, mother effer or something that's, got some kind of like power or something, and that's why there's like this. And he pretty much tells Karapika, you need to tread lightly around this dude. Don't exacerbate any situations. Just play it safe, because we don't know what's up with this dude. So that really intrigued me. That whole panel.
Yeah, well, I'm on it, page 13. Since the beginning of his rule, the prince has never been in a more delicate situation, and there are some potentially dark shadows looming around the prince. I understand that anything I say to you about this is probably futile, but please, whenever possible, choose the most peaceful, non-confrontational path without exacerbating the situation. And then it also says, no need to worry, Karupika. I'm quite experienced in dealing with monsters that hide in a human shell. He's dehumanized them already. And the twist that, like I say, the twist that I think may happen is we find out that this guy isn't a bad guy at all.
Maybe.
And see, that would be the struggle. What happens if he finds out this guy's not a bad guy? What if he's actually a pretty good guy?
Well, here's the thing with I think when it comes to Karabika, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. If you have his clan's eyes, you're enemy number one. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it is interesting. I mean, and this is the cop cow telling him, "Hey, you need to do this peaceably." Although I don't think you are, but
Yeah, he's like, I don't think you're gonna listen to me, but at least you can't say that I didn't tell you.
But Tagashi's gonna make it interesting. Yeah, Sean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think they're gonna use Kurapika as like him balancing his emotions, because every time when we see something set up, is always a bad guy. But like you said, like, what if this prince is actually a good guy and Kurapika is so corrupt of getting his eyes back, it makes him look evilish.
Yeah.
Has to. I think it's gonna be an internal struggle with Kurapika in this arc.
Well,
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. That's cool.
You notice at the exactly, Sean. You're on an awesome deal. Go ahead.
Oh no. Depending on what he's gonna do with the prince.
And if you notice something, the shrine, you've got like a shrine to like the Virgin, or whatever. It's kind of a kind of a Catholic kind of shrine that Karupika's kind of got. And if you notice that this fourth prince looks kind of like Jesus.
Yeah.
So
he looks like a malnourished, the malnourished Miller, or not Miller, what's the dude's name with the pipe?
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. He's I just like how this chapter made him more interesting. I didn't give a crap about him before. He seemed like a neon, like that one crime boss's daughter.
Yeah.
Who just wanted the eyes because they're a toy or something, and he just happened to collect them all. But now he's actually has some depth to him. So.
Well, yeah, I think Tagashi's going to do something. He's going to spin it in some way. So I'm just curious. So even though not a lot of action's going on, I'm really because we're actually learning a lot more about the characters, right? We get the cow cop, we're finding the crew that King's with, we're kind of getting their personality through the dialogue, and like I say, it was shocking, the way Karupika is like, gosh, I'm alone, and then anybody tries to get close to him, and he's like, God, and he's like, what?
Yeah, he's on his emo side.
Yeah, he is, but I like that. I like what you're saying, Sean, because that's what he did with Gon. That's what Takashi did with Gon. He's like, I'm going to turn. He's going to get so focused on his mission that he does the stereotypical, I'm doing a good thing, so I'm going to start doing all this evil. right?
Yeah.
And then if you notice, Ging is a jerk, and but now we're finding the soft side of Ging. I like the complex characters. That's what Takashi's good at.
Have they showed? I remember, like, you know how when everybody that I guess Jane talked to Gon, they always talk to like how their perception of how Ging was. They showed him when he was very compassionate at one point, because they showed it on Razor's part, like how they turned Razor around.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's a jerk. See, that's what makes he's a complicated character. He's more like a real character in that way,
He's got
right?
two sides to him, you know.
I guess it
Exactly.
depends.
You
Yeah,
know, on one side he's gonna help you out, but you know,
he's a jerk.
he's not gonna do any favors beyond that, you know.
I want to use some other words, but I mean he's a jerk, and he's even somebody that gets bored and causes trouble. I mean, but like I say, complex characters are interesting, right?
He's got the same thing that Gon's got going on. He doesn't like fight for right or wrong. It's whatever he's focused on, whatever he cares about at the moment, he's gonna do.
To
It's
achieve
more.
his goals.
It's more of like he just let loose and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
So, what's right? So, but I mean, notice in this, so we don't really have any fighting, but we got a lot of dialogue. But Tagashi's good at tension, right? He's good at characters, you know. Because I mean, even though Pariston doesn't really say much of anything, right, in this chapter, the tension between him and Ging is still there. The whole battle over number 2. Oh, and Pariston's just sitting there. He's watching all this stuff play out, right?
Can I throw something out there?
Yeah.
Do you think the real reason why Ging and Preston is doing all of this for number 2 isn't kind of like mind trick to get the number 1 spot?
No, I think if you put a marble on the floor, they would fight over it. They're competitive. It doesn't matter. It could be, like I say, number 1 or the last. They could say I'm number 10, and Paris would be like, no, I'm number 10, and they'll fight over that.
Oh,
They're competitive, man. These guys are competitive. They're
Well,
going to go at each other.
Well, I don't know who said it. This isn't coming from me. I heard this from a reviewer or something. They were saying that like the reason why they're fighting over number 2 is because they're all agreeing that Beyond's going to be taken out, and after he's gone, whoever's number 2 is going to be number 1 after that. So is that kind of what you were getting at, Sean?
yeah.
I don't know where I heard that. I heard it in a review or something. Maybe it was King of Lightning or Friend of World.
Like, to me, it looks like they doing like they be having a mind war with each other.
Yep.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help that they're like the same type of people, like you were saying, Steve, and they're clashing. You know, it's not. You know, it's like there can only be one person on the top of the mountain, and when you both want it, you know, you're obviously going to clash.
Yeah, and they were similar to the point until Pariston went into total, bondage mode, and then Ging was like, "Oh, okay, we're different. We get some differences here. Okay, no, I don't have quite the happiness and joy and pain that you got going on. So no."
Yeah, we're different in that aspect.
But it was interesting because what I thought was the doll in this is evidently not. It's that robot. That was something I thought was kind of interesting. I guess that one guy's controlling it. Yes. So battle mode activated. But anything else?
I just find it crazy that, like, you know, each week we're getting all this info, but I'm still like, man, I need more. You know what I'm saying? We're getting so much in every, you know, just more than, you know, if you compare it to other shonen manga out there, like Bleacher, for instance, you know, you don't get barely anything in those chapters. And, you know, we're still begging for more when it comes to Hunter when we're getting this information overload.
Well, like I was telling my brother-in-law, this is a different level. This guy's a writer. Okay, the story side of Togashi's solid. You know,
We're all turned into Togashi elitists.
We are. I was waiting for you to say it. We all sit with our top hats at our, elite club meeting and talk about Tagashi.
Sipping our tea with our canes.
Exactly. It's top hats. Exactly.
Who is this Kishimoto? You don't have any time for him.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there. But
No. Hey, that's all. I'm done.
That is exactly. But
I'll just leave it at that.
yeah, that's good. But yeah, I mean, the guy is just an awesome writer. Like I say, I was just intrigued with the whole relationship thing between Laurel and Kurupika. Just the writing side of it. Who goes there? Who's like, okay, I'm going to have this character with an emotional barrier, and what happens with emotional barriers? It's filters. Like any psychology or anything, people have filters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anything friendship-wise that comes into Kurupika gets filtered out. I mean, like I say, that one line where the cow cop's like, Leorio really thinks a lot of you. That's about friendship, and Kurupika's like, I don't think so. I'm not going to be that useful to Dark Continent. That's where he is. He's protecting himself.
Yeah, he blows it off. It's like, and like I said, it's either something that happened or it's something he's about to do. That's why he's distancing himself. He has something in his mind that he knows no one's gonna like, or something happened that changed him, and it's just we're missing a piece of the puzzle with his character, with Kurapika's character. There needs to be more there. So.
And it relates to all the Crimson Eyes that.
Yeah, like I said in my comment, every time his character is in the story or he's in a centerfold, role, there's always two things you can expect. His clan's eyes, he's going to be going after that, and the Phantom Troop are going to be involved somehow, some way. And we already got one of those. The eyes are present. Prince has the eyes, and now we're just missing the Phantom Troop. What is their role? I don't think it's possible for us to have a whole arc with Kurapika being a main character and the Phantom Troop just not being there. It's part of his character, But at the same time, I don't see what role they could play.
Well, and that may not. Well, they may not. I mean, I've heard that before from other people. I just don't think that has to be. Just like the whole thing, I don't think you have to. Because, I mean, look, what we were talking about before. Tagashi likes to take characters, isolate characters, and just focus on them for a while. And then, that he's done it before. I mean, look where Gon is. The main character of the whole manga is, like, powerless. Right?
Yeah.
And he's not even invited. Nobody's even thinking of taking him to the Dark Continent right now. He's the main dude. So I think that it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have to see the Phantom Troop, at least yet. We're going to see him at some point. We all know this, But
yeah, because there's treasures there, and the Phantom Troop's always going to take treasure, no matter where it's at.
Right, and their leader, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they still have stuff they need to accomplish, but But they're going to be on a boat for, 2 months?
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
And supposedly Pariston wants to take the untraveled routes. Is that what it was, or was that beyond?
Yeah. No. Pariston's going to take the untraveled routes.
Yeah.
Or not untraveled, foreign. No, it didn't say untraveled. It said foreign routes.
I thought it said untraveled.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
So you're going to take foreign routes. And this is what's interesting, is they all seem a little too familiar. This stuff. And that way we'll be able to beat him. We'll get there before him and all that. Like I say, but it really looks like he's going to hook up with him.
Yeah.
It was really beyond. It's really beyond. Is the one behind. So this is. So like I say, I think Pariston really was trying to pull it over Ging's eyes, and Ging really knew what was going on. So.
Yeah.
And that's why he's paying him. So they're going to be loyal to. So they're going to be loyal to Ging and not to Beyond. Because I think that was the whole play. We'll get there. Ging thinks we're going to take out Beyond, but really Beyond's behind the whole thing. We're going to take Ging out. And Ging's like, no, I know your game. I'm going to buy them off. I just doubled their money. Now they're working for me.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like it's a mind with each other. Because they want the number one spot, but they just doing two as.
Can't hear you.
Oh, you hear me now?
You were cutting in and out. At least for me, was it just me or?
No, I was saying like they doing a mind war with each other. Like it's more of like who can get the upper hand with each other without like even fighting. It's more mental with them two.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let me switch over to something else real quick. All right, Life in the Boot. Yeah, he's cutting out for all of us. But you don't have. Let's see what your mic isn't working. Well, if you don't Life in the Boot, you were telling me that your issue with Hunter x Hunter is the time to get caught up, right? So that was your issue with it, right?
Oh yeah, it's 366 chapters. What? I don't know. It'll take me a month, and I don't even know if I understand.
You know what? I'm telling. Well, I don't know if you watch the anime or whatever, but it's a good ride, man. It's just slow in the beginning. Every arc is slow, but it's the same guy that did Yu Yu Hakusho. So if you like that, this is a darker, less Dragon Ball Z-ish deal. And some things he did some. I want to bring up something in general about Hunter x Hunter. There's not really a lot of shipping here, is there?
No,
You
there's
know what
like
I mean?
none at all actually.
Yeah, and there was quite a bit of it in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Was there?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's quite a bit of it. It's not in depth, but it is. It's there. So, and even the main character, it's him and his girlfriend through the whole thing, or at least most of it that I've seen so far. So, and there's a lot of other shipping too. So it seems like he just dumped it. There's like certain things that he just said, I'm past that. And there is, like I said, there is the power up Dragon Ball Z-ish kind of stuff. But I mean, we're talking about something that was done, what, 20 years ago?
Well, I think the closest he got to shipping was the stuff with Palm. And
Yeah, which was,
Palm and Nav, and then Palm and Gone, which was really weird.
yeah, so that was way over the top. He does a lot of age play.
Yeah.
And
Well,
stuff.
I've gotten to the point where I just don't expect the Japanese to respect age boundaries.
Well, and even the whole thing, Greed Island was the guy that donated the money. It was all about his young wife, right? This old dude and this young wife. So there's age
Yeah.
play and stuff. So yeah, it's a different culture. But yeah, it's a fun ride, Life in the Boot. You know, you should just enjoy the ride instead of trying to get at the end of it.
Yeah, take your
That's
time
what-
with it.
That's what Conley Bob 9 is doing. Yu Yu Hakusho. All right, so we're at the end of this. We're all here. We've got our top hats on. We're swinging our canes, making sipping our tea. You know.
Stroking Tagashi's ego.
Yeah.
Well, when
Great Tagashi. Tagashi the Great.
Right.
So, all right. Was anybody got anything else? We go ahead and close it out.
I think that's it for me, at least.
Yeah, I think we're good. We did an hour 40 last week. Well, anyway, I appreciate every single person that's watching. This is fun for us to do. If you're enjoying it, that is amazing. And Tagashi is awesome. And I will keep pestering people to read Hunter x Hunter, or even Yu Yu Hakusho or whatever, anything from Tagashi. All right, until next time, take care.